What's going on, everybody? It's James Grandmaster Facts Boys, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today we are going to be covering Skinbreaker issue 3 for Image Comics and Skybound, done by Robert Kirkman, artwork done by David Finch, colors done by Annalise, Leone, and letters done by Rus Wooten. Now, if you remember from the first two issues, as a matter of fact, we'll just go to the second issue. The second issue, of course, told the story of Anok after he basically had a one-on-one battle for being the leader of his particular tribe. As a matter of fact, the title is called Being the Chieftain. So we went through this whole time jump where Anok is now the elder of this particular tribe. And something particular happened within the first and second issues, because we thought that the antagonist going into issue 3, probably the issues going forward, it was going to be this character by the name of Thul, who was just this menacing figure and was very caught into the old ways of how the tribe used to basically handle themselves, not only by war politics, but basically even by their hunts. When we get to issue 2 and issue 3, you come to realize that Anok being of a certain age is sort of a diminishing factor within the tribe. And in issue 2, he was actually confronted by a young warrior within his tribe by the name of Paca. And we come to find out in issue 3 that Paca is actually Thul's son. And Thul, the reason that we did not see him in issue 2 is because during the time, I guess, of this jump that particularly happened, Thul has lost an entire lower limb. He's missing a leg, and it's probably orchestrated by one of these hunts, or better yet, just the violent tendencies of his bloodline of the clan. If that's the stronger word to basically put it out there. So he himself, his son Imam, who has brought water to this entire village, has orchestrated smarter and very efficient ways of hunting, gathering water, growing crops for this tribe to make things a lot easier for their generations to thrive without the threat of violence. To where Thul and Paca are so caught up in the old ways, and they feel as though that Anok is using these particular fragments of how he's doing things, and their signs of weakness, almost in the same way that he was taught by his own mentor, Anok, who he battled for the chieftain, who he didn't want to kill anyway, but it ended up being that way. So you come to find out that these beasts that they've been hunting are of a particular size, and they don't view them as being very smart creatures. They just figure they're just as violent face to face as they are. And Anok bringing back a fresh kill feeds the entire village, and understanding Paca and Thul's intentions seem to come to the forefront in this particular issue. Why? Because Anok, of course, goes to Anor's grave, and he realizes that being the elder of this tribe is he's understanding that his time is going to come, but he just doesn't know when. He feels as though he needs more time to teach people new ways so that there is no challenges, and that everybody can basically thrive if they live a certain way. All the while he's sitting there just contemplating and thinking of certain ways and means for him to move on from this, one of those beasts is climbing down this mountain, which is one of two things that are particularly going to carry on in these issues. The bigger thing is that their entire way of civilization, where they actually are in a habitat, has now been compromised, and he ends up being attacked alone by this beast, to the point where he has to take an evasive maneuver, jump off a cliff, to where this thing flies over the cliff. But in all the while, what he doesn't seem to understand is that he's hearing screams coming from inside of where they are basically having this feast, and it's another one of those beasts. So before he even gets a chance to warn them, and jump into action. As a matter of fact, I think his wife tries to throw him his Skinbreaker. Paca has already killed this beast, you know, in almost in the violent ways that you would expect Paca and Thul to do so. And because the chieftain was not the one to initiate the kill, it is seen by Paca and Thul as a sign of weakness. And in the same way that you saw it in issue 1, and you kind of saw it in the beginning of issue 3, to where Anok was kind of, you know, ribbing Thul as to the reason, because he lost his leg, he was never able to challenge for being the leader of this tribe. But Paca sees a means of advantage, and it's like, okay, if I was the one to get here first, and Anok is basically trying to tell him that, you know, look, we're compromised. I was just attacked on that cliff. But the thing is, nobody saw it. So Paca's not believing it, Thul's not believing it, and they just feel as though the need for Paca to issue a challenge. They're wondering to themselves, is like, should I even accept? But the bigger thing is, he has no choice. He has no, you know, they're still kind of primitive in these older ways. So he has no choice but to accept the challenge. So now we're going to go into issue 4 and realize that we're going to have a mano-a-mano battle between Paca, the young warrior of this tribe, and Anok, who was like, you know, of course, the elder chieftain, in the same way that Anor and Anok had their initial battle. But the thing is, you know, all the while with these beasts roaming around, to where they're understanding now that they can be fed on, and means of being prey have now been surfaced. But we will look forward to basically going into issue 4. This, of course, has been a fantastic series by Robert Kirkman and David Finch. I've talked vividly about the artwork that is done in these particular pages. The series itself, you know how people always complain about the cover not looking like the interior pages? Exactly the same. It looks just like this. But we will see you guys next time on the channel.